I know we all love Badgel. But if I see any comment about how he's being replaced, I will destroy you. Crosstown. A town of water pathways where people use surfing Pokemon to make their way around. You've recently moved from the Eire region because things were getting a little chaotic with, new Pokemon such as, Paris that burned down entire forests popping up across the region, and your dad didn't really want his child exposed to that. And your grandma lives in the RENAI region anyway, so nice change of pace. It's pretty easy to get set up there. And finding out that you're from a region where not only the Pokemon League is super different, but also you have no exposure to Mega Evolutional armors, the professors have generously offered you, a spot, or I guess they've offered you a Pokemon, so you can take place in the region's League Challenge. And alongside you will be, they have also invited a child of a woman who works at the Mega Departments, which make the Mega Stones and the armors and stuff. So he's very well versed, and or I guess they are very well versed and very well versed in Mega Evolutions, are very knowledgeable about armors and what have you. So it's kind of to see if that really makes much of a difference and stuff in a new region. I'm just checking to make in my notes to make sure I don't have anything else. Oh yeah, Dad says, and Dad tells you that now it's all hands off. He's letting you make your own way and stuff like that. And then you promptly realise that you can't really surf yet. So well, you still have access to 3 other gyms. I'm sure you'll figure something out in that time, right? Probably. So let's just get this fire starter stuff out of the way, shall we? Oggly, the Glycerin Pokemon. This Pokemon is friendly, but don't be fooled. If its emotions get too high, it will explode. Trainers with this Pokemon usually tackle this with a partner with the ability Damp, or by helping the Pokemon gain control of its abilities as soon as possible. They can regenerate if they do end up exploding. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This bitch was hard to design. These are the 2 previous designs before I landed on the current one, and there were a lot of other failed attempts. So let's just start with the one I actually coloured, who actually lived long enough to evolve. But I thought it was just way too Ultra Beast-like, I think it's the glowing face. It's meant to represent the structure of nitroglycerin because it's based on nitroglycerin. But yeah, just didn't look startery enough and Pokemon-y enough for me. Normal Pokemon-y enough. And then there was this guy. I kind of liked him, but again, I think it works better as an Ultra Beast. Probably now that I'm looking at it, because of the face and stuff, but whatever. So I decided to change its eyes and tweak its design to almost resemble more of a caterpillar, which I think makes it work significantly better. So thankfully the other 2 were significantly easier to design. Aqua, the water sport Pokemon. These Pokemon love nothing more than playing in shallow pools of water. They can fling water at their opponents by transferring up their tails and launching it in round globs from their headsets. Its hidden ability is Aqueduct, which gives the Pokemon an Omni boost when hit with a water-type move. Now, this Pokemon, obviously based on Aqueduct, and I'm not particularly sure why I added this little head thing, other than for it to just have something to contain the head in. I had a vision, and I did the vision, and it worked. Also, it's, Aqueduct. I've got to have some level of curve in there, otherwise it's really not an Aqueduct, is it? It's meant to almost channel a kid playing in the pool, hence its little, basically, jacket and trousers and stuff, and it's all balled up as if it's in the middle of cannonballing. But this cannonball will not blow you up. And if you want a Pokemon that will also not blow you up, Weak, the wheat Pokemon. While not being the smartest, these Pokemon are incredibly caring and will break off the paler parts of their bodies to feed starving people and Pokemon. While not being the best tasting, its texture's kind of bang too. It is incredibly nutritious and will grow back after a few days. So nitroglycerin, aqueducts, and wheat. What do all these things have in common? Well, I wanted to do something different, and not different in the sense, and not different like that one gym leader I made that everybody unanimously hated me for. I wanted to base the starters instead on animals. I wanted to base them on like man-made stuff because Italy with the Renaissance and stuff, and they have all of those cool inventions which I did reference a lot in the future Pokemon of this region, whatever. But wheat isn't man-made. Well, no, but food is, and this is meant to be the almost simplified form because this little idiot is, the first form. He's little. His head is almost alien-like, which, intentional, and also meant to look like are they called grains? I think they're called grains. Grains of wheat, the little fluffy things you pick off. And the paler parts is meant to, represent wheat, but also to, break up a bit of the empty space. And its body is long and stuff to make it, look like a piece of wheat. I was basically just channeling Long Chespin with this, and you know what? I think this little guy's pretty good. He's simple but effective. I respect him, and even though he's a novice right now, I'm sure he'll do great things in the future. What are you doing with that piece of macaroni? Down it. The unstable Pokemon. The energy within this Pokemon evolves faster than the Pokemon's body. This causes the Pokemon to constantly leak energy and causes it to rampage if it cannot constantly exercise to release it. The closer this Pokemon gets to a rampage, the hotter its tail becomes. We don't need to talk about this, right? I've already shown you the... Yeah, okay, cool. Now, spoiler alert, but this Pokemon's final evolution is based on a nuclear reactor because I wanted the Pokemon in this region to go from kind of like, goofy with a good heart to like more into a more chaotic middle stage is basically how humans develop. The teenage phase, and then they evolve into the adult form where it's like helpful and well adjusted and stuff. Hence all the energy leaking out of it because this thing is unstable as shit. Hence also its differently colored jittery eyes. It's also got these little nubbin stuff, and its body is built the way it is because it's based on the structure of nitroglycerin, which I think comes off a lot better than the other first blah blah whatever blah blah. It also makes it look more futuristic and technological because it's like a lightning rod. But do not give this thing a lightning rod, it will explode. Unless it evolves, of course, but it will most likely evolve. But if you want a Pokemon that won't explode, Duck, the prank Pokemon. These Pokemon will form groups of 3 or more and will splash unsuspecting people with their water before dashing away. They can often form strong friendships with Drizzile. I know, right? The water monster can finally actually form its own water. But seriously though, even though I really love these guys, I did this line so fucking dirty because not only does the fire type now have electric moves too, but I also made it water rock, so now it's 4 times weak to grass. But whatever, this guy doesn't care. He's got this cool guy mohawk made of water, and he's got this jacket on with the aqueduct hood. And he's got these like trousers on, and he's got this trousers on. This is probably the most humanoid fakemon I've ever made, and it has this like water tail for no other reason other than I wanted to give this guy some Charizard energy, with the tail actually having some of the element built into it. Much like this other Pokemon, which has its element built into it. Macrisp, the refined Pokemon. This Pokemon's starchy outer layers have hardened into a tough but light shell. It is packed with nutrients and gives immense amounts of energy to the creature that consumes it. However, it must be boiled to be appetizing, the when you bite into hard macaroni. Now he has transformed from simple wheat into more refined wheat. It's got its little neck thing, I kept the neck thing to keep that through line, and now it has a large outer shell meant to represent macaroni, and it has a little coffee arm, because the idea is that this Pokemon is now, it's two parts of a meal. It is the main, bit of the meal, and it's the drink, so we got macaroni and coffee. No idea if that would actually be good, don't really care. It's also got this little green bit, to be like the first evolution, but also to be like a bib, And I'll admit, also I added the little, I extended its eyelashes, because why not? And I'll admit, it does very much break the kind of established thing with these starters where, like, you know, they go through a chaotic teenage phase and then they'll evolve and they'll become more helpful and stuff. But I think that actually really works because now they're like a cute little friend group and he gets to act like he's like the straight man of the group, you know? But you know, these boys gotta grow up sometime, so Neutral, the stable Pokemon. During evolution, this Pokemon's body traps the energy inside it, and the Neutral is finally able to control it. It shoots bursts of light from its collar, and as a last resort will pull all the energy flowing through it into its body, causing it to explode. So, what connects a caterpillar, a weird lizard laser thing, and a dog? Well, and you know what they say about nitroglycerin. But seriously though, nitroglycerin can be used for a lot of like medicinal stuff, and it's very helpful in that kind of case, which also gives it a through line because it is an explosive thing that is helpful into a more explosive thing that is also helpful. The explosion is very much more so what connects them though. Because, you know, nuclear reactors are known for doing that. But this guy is technically not known for doing that. He's got this nice little collar on to make it more dog-like. And also like break up the monotony a bit, because I'm gonna be real, without it, this Pokemon is very monotonous. And I don't know why I added a face on, but I'm like 90% sure it's because that was originally supposed to be its face. But I was like, no, that looks stupid, so then I added the extra face. Might also just be because it looks funny. But it now controls the energy flowing through it, hence the energy now making up its limbs, and it's a lot more stable. And it also has this little tie on its tail to, you know, show that it has control and knows what it's doing. Enough control to unlock its signature move, Big Finish! It's basically multi-type last resort special explode, because when the user has used up all of its other moves, so like say you flamethrower, thunderbolt, and then like hyper beam or something, then the turn after hyper beam recovers, you can then use this move and it will be like Hawlucha's signature move where it picks whichever type does more damage, and this thing will just fucking explode. It's also a special move because I'm not Pokemon. I'm not gonna give a special attacker a physical signature move. I'm like 80% sure they have actually done that before. But, you know, thankfully these next two signature moves are significantly less destructive to Pokemon itself. Guiduct, the helper Pokemon. These fierce Pokemon have very peaceful natures and will stand for hours in elevated spots to survey the town. They will aid any call for them, which can be inconvenient while battling. So, you know, Aqueduct superhero. It seems weird, but bringing water to people without water seems pretty super to me. Hence his, like, big superhero outfit that also doubles as abs. I will admit, this Pokemon is very heavily inspired by All Might because I was going through a bit of a My Hero Academia phase, still am. It's got these giant golden gloves with water coming off of it that's almost meant to be like, you know, the action lines coming off heroes when they punch things. It's like a jet coming out of them that pushes their fist forward. They can really deliver some All Might level punches. It's now also got a little halo over its head because, you know, good person, therefore halo. Also, I didn't really have any other ideas on what to do with that little loop, and I thought might as well have it in the final evolution because both of the other evolutions have it. Its tail is meant to be, you know, also an aqueduct, but also almost like a flowing cape, and its arched legs, you know, also aqueduct. Just a big boy living his best life with a signature move that might potentially be incredibly broken, but I don't really care. Its move is called Channel because it's channeling all of the power within it, but it's also like a water channel, you know how, yeah, you get it. A 75 power, 100% accurate physical water type move, which, you know, pretty alright, but the move gets stronger the more stat boost the Pokemon has. Why does this make it potentially incredibly broken? You know, never mind, you probably won't have to deal with it. Faced, the ultimate chef Pokemon. These Pokemon have no natural predators. This is due to the fact every Pokemon person knows if they need a good meal, they can always just ask. Every part of this Pokemon is edible and they have plenty to share. I'm gonna be real, this is my personal favourite of the group. It is now 3 parts of the meal. It is the main course of the meal, which I'm not even sure is even in the design technically anymore, but you can see little bits and pieces. It's got the coffee, and it's now added a dessert in gelato. Wow, I sounded so fucking dickish saying gelato. I'm so sorry. That sounded so like pretentious. Sorry about that. Anyway. And with its peaceful expression, you can tell, even though these boys have now grown up, he's still the one keeping the other 2 in line. He's still the responsible one, and this is our support Pokemon. So, first starter, the water starter is the speedy physical attacker. The fire starter is the special speedy sweeper, and this Pokemon is the, I'd say, fast support Pokemon. There's not many of those, right? Fast support Pokemon works because, grass doesn't have all that many resistances, so it doesn't really make sense to be a bulky support. So it's like a speedy support Pokemon with its signature move, Full Course Meal, where the Pokemon provides itself and its ally with a delicious and filling meal, and over the next 3 turns they will receive 1/3 HP healed. That doesn't mean 1/3 HP spread over the turns. I mean each turn they will receive 1/3 healing. So potentially very, very good for battles and stuff. But yeah, those are our starters.